Alright guys, what's going on? This is part 7 or 8, the big brake kit swap. So, tomorrow I will be drilling up the actual mounting spots. So right now, the caliper has two 1/8 inch holes. Well, I use a number 30 drill, but it's .128 versus 125 semantics. So, that's piloted on these bushings. You can see on the other one right here, I've got my pilots made using my fancy schmancy template right here. This was the knuckle side. That's the caliper side. So it's got these roundy things here for the bushings. Then you just lay it in there, and I made them little dibby dobs right there and there. And you know, I mean, this is a little off. I mean, the pad is actually right next to the line here. This one's just kind of a little crooked because the screwdriver is holding tension to keep it together, because obviously no hydraulic pressure. Yeah, it's in, and then we're gonna just turn this around, and once we pilot these holes all the way through with the number 30 bit, then we're going to step ream them to final size, hopefully. I'm hoping I can hog it quickly, using drill blocks and drill guides to drill through these. And then once I drill through them and then get my holes square, I'm going to mount and shim, because these I didn't make these super thick. That way I could shim it accordingly. That way I could bullseye, try to get about as dead centered on the rotor as I can. Because again, these are fixed calipers, and you gotta have to be pretty square because it's compressing from both sides, and you don't want one side squeezing more than the other. It's gonna cause irregular pad wear and all kinds of bad shit. But I decided to pull all of this apart so I could fit the VR4 dust shield. And as you can see, damn, we got some work to do, that's for sure. So I'll be working tomorrow using my, handy Jim Dandy cardboard aided design right here. Use my rotor to get my overall diameter, obviously the mounting holes for the rotor head itself. And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out, with this sitting on top, where the dust shield sits in relation to this, because we're going to make a nice carbon fiber dust shield to go on the back of it. And then, don't want to put that there. And then we're going to figure out where the best placement, because I don't have ABS, although I don't want to put a big duct here and then be kind of screwed for eventually running ABS. But since the sensors are discontinued and it's super hard to find, and my car's a 99, until I can figure out the TVIS Mark II ABS standalone that comes in BMWs. And yeah, so that's what I would run. So eventually I probably would not worry about the factory wheel speed sensor, because the TVIS Mark II uses the ABS tone ring to pick up the signal to send to the pump itself. Because again, it's a standalone setup. It's pretty rad. So what I might probably end up doing is figuring out where the best placement would be, whether it's going to be a duct here behind the caliper. I mean, you've got lots of meat in here, but I would probably just have my duct either in the front here or from behind here. But again, you can see how much dust shield we still need to extend. So I'll get my measurements. That way I can figure out, okay, well, we're about a finger's width here, so that's a little more than half an inch. It's probably about, it's probably about close to half an inch, top and bottom here. But then we'll have to figure out like the center point, make sure the dust shield's square, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually continue fabricating steel, because these are just steel dust shields, and I'm going to make my additions onto this thing so I can get exactly what I want, mirror my templates to the other side. And these are just the front ones. I have the rear ones too for the VR4 rear end. And then what I'm going to do is make my mold, and it's going to be like a kind of like a squeeze mold almost. Maybe I'm probably going to end up doing just a fiberglass shell, like a rigid shell. That way I can pop out solid copies. I don't want to have to worry about, like, I could clay sculpt it. Like, once I get this, I could use any of the oil-based clays, like the plasticine clays, and then mask all this off, heat the clay up using like a crock pot or something. You could even use the disposable bag in it, obviously, and then you would just kind of like pour it over the top of whatever you're molding. You put a dam around it, and then pour that over the top, and once it cools, it solidifies. And because it is oil-based, it tends to pop off easy most of the time. And then I could do that. So I'd have my mold, and then from that, I could go ahead and start cleaning that up, making it nice and super pretty and clean. And then go ahead and make my fiberglass jacket off of that. And then once I get the fiberglass portion made, clean all the clay out, make sure it's spotless, and then just do the reverse procedure with, spraying in PVA, which is polyvinyl alcohol, as a mold release, and then laying in my carbon fiber into that, and then vacuum bagging the whole thing. And then once it's vacuum bagged, popping it out, be good to go. I need to figure out, though, if I'm going to go extend it out and over, or if I'm just going to leave the top of the rotor open. I'm still digging into research to figure out what, like, high performance, like road racing cars, like Le Mans, GT Series cars, GT3, GTD Pro, GT, stuff like that, like my Lexus boys. Shout out to Vassar Sullivan, love you guys, and Lexus Racing. But yeah, that's the plan. Get bigger dust shields, probably overlap carbon fiber the world, because carbon is life, and then possibly see about either closing these off and making like a ram air setup down here, and then obviously, but see, the thing about having it back here is you have to worry about the CV axle here. So that's why I'm feeling like this little pocket right here will be good for high pressure air coming in off the front bumper. So I'm going to be using, on the 99 nose, where normally you would have your side mount intercoolers, I'm going to use those as ram air ducts to the front rotors. And then I don't necessarily think I need an extractor style on the front to pull heat out, which also helps remove the low pressure zone underneath, or the turbulent air inside the wheel, and helps heat extract that way as well. Those are pretty rad. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. Sorry, I kept pausing, I kept yawning. I didn't really feel like, I didn't think you'd want to hear me just going, "Aah!" And then you start yawning, and then it's the thing. But yeah, man, it's just working slow, doing what I can. It's been in triple digits in Florida, North Florida especially. Absolutely fucking miserable. So been trying to work on this a little bit at a time, a little bit at a, every night, and because things like tonight, like what happened, like I start working on it as soon as my kids go to bed because they're on summer vacation, and then before I know it, my wife's like, "You really need to come to bed. It's 11:30, and you got to be up at 3:30." And I'm just like, "Fuck, you'll sleep." But yeah, so I'll get these drilled up, reamed up to final size. I'm gonna take one of my fancy boy bolts with me tomorrow, so I know I'm gonna give it a little wiggle room, not like a quarter of an inch, just very, very, very slightly, like maybe a 32nd of an inch. Like you want it to be able to go in there and kind of like float around a little bit, because again, you're dealing with steel fastener, iron steel knuckle, like forged steel knuckles, and aluminum caliper with aluminum bushings potted in place with an epoxy resin. So all the dissimilar metals. So you want to be able to, you don't want it tight, because the aluminum is going to expand faster than steel, and it's also going to contract faster than steel. Steel is going to retain its heat. So you don't want any kind of bad things with thermal expansion, or keeping, your mounting points the hottest thing here, because you don't want cracks to develop and form and all that other shit, because that's just bad news bears all around. But yeah, stay tuned, more to come. And like I said, at the end of this is literally a bolt-on brake kit. Like, Evo X rotor, boom, there you go. And then you have your Porsche 18Z, brembo, Porsche Cayenne. You can still get these things reman. Like, this is a reman caliper. It carries a, I think, lifetime warranty on it. I don't know. These are the new gen. It's the part numbers. Again, you can look these up on Rock Auto. You want the 355 millimeter rotor or 350 millimeter rotor versions for the front. The rears are all the same. They run a, well, it depends. No, I take that back, because they do are for, one's a 330, one's a 355. But anyway, these are 350 Evo X rotors. So again, that is 2.5 inches larger than stock. 2.5 inches larger than a VR4. 3 inches larger than a base SL. Yeah, pretty sure. Alright, well, have fun, guys. And like I said, keep you posted and all that good stuff. Peace.